development of the quantum learning model. Group 1. This is team member of Group 1. Harit, Faid, Aina, Yasmin, Asma, Suhail.
Introduction. Today, I will be sharing a brief overview of the content learning model. This model was originally developed by Dr. Georgie Lavanos and later popular by Bobby DePotter. It combines psychology concept, active learning strategy, and a fun, engaging classroom environment. Most importantly, it used a student-centered approach to make learning more effective and meaningful. According to Wellman and Ristan in 2023, content learning promotes critical and creative thinking, while Sophia Mordarning's 2022 found that it increased student attention and joy in learning. How 21 also highlighted that many students struggle to apply mathematical concepts like quadratic equation in real life, and content learning help bridge this gap through active engagement. To implement this model effectively, it was integrated with the AD instructional design framework, which is including analysis, design, development, implementation, and also evaluation. As David 2018 noted, AD enhanced critical thinking skill, making it a perfect match for the goal of content learning.
Based on the DSKP, there are 4 objectives that can be gathered. The first one is to identify the values of A, B, and C in a quadratic expression. The second one is to determine the roots of a quadratic equation using factoring, the quadratic formula, or completing the square. The third one is to identify the maximum or minimum point of a quadratic function. And the last one is to apply the concepts of quadratic function and equations to solve real-life problems.
The analysis phase began with the initial observation that revealed students were still struggling to understand the quadratic equation, understand the equation roots, and apply the quadratic equation to the real-life situation. To identify the core teaching and learning needs, a review of the current lesson plans was conducted alongside the collection of feedback from both students and teachers. This process highlighted the specific gap in instructional delivery and a general lack of engagement with topics related to quadratic function and equation. As part of analysis phase, survey were carried out to gather the comprehensive insight from the target users. Findings indicate the need for an interactive and scaffolded learning module that support active and cooperative learning approaches. Overall, the phase established a solid foundation of a module development by clearly identifying the students' learning challenges. The purpose module will be designed based on the Tandur Kusir framework and tailored to address the practical learning gaps in a more enjoyable and effective way.
Assalamualaikum. I will proceed with the design phase for the module. The module is structured around scaffolded learning of quadratic equation. It starts from basic knowledge such as identifying A, B, and C from quadratic equation, followed by solving methods like factoring, completing the squares, and using quadratic formula. Then moving to graph analysis and eventually solving real-life problem related to quadratic equation. It applies quantum learning model through Tandur framework with stages like real-life questioning, group-based treasure hunt activities, concept naming, demonstration, repetition, and eventually celebration. In order to support this, materials like concept map and I think maps are used. Formative assessment are done during group tasks, while summative assessment followed after the activity, in order to ensure that the learning is interactive, structured, and motivating for students.
Next, the development phase. In this phase, we focus on translating the design ideas into a structured mathematical learning module based on the quantum learning model. So we decide to do a face-to-face brainstorming and discussion session to discuss and refine the module concept aligned with the Tandur framework from the quantum learning model. And from the discussion, we agreed to do a learning activity with title Mathematics Treasure Hunt Mission, which aim to create an engaging the experiential learning experience for a student. So there are several digital tools we will utilize effectively, which are like a Canva and Google Form. And after that, the module was done, the structure and the collaborative approach during the development phase ensure that the final mathematics module was not only visually appealing but also pedagogically sound and effectively aligned with the quantum learning model. So next, I will show you the quantum learning module created by our group. So for the first picture is the first page for our quantum learning module, and the second is about the treasure hunt. Okay, and then the third page about our members, our group, and next is about the table of content for the quantum learning module, which we have an introduction of quantum learning module, learning objective, introduction of treasure hunt, concept development in the activity, learning activities, and lastly is exercise, and also the conclusion. And for the next page is an introduction of quantum learning model, and we also have a introduction for the topic quadratic equation that we choose. And then we have a learning objective, which is related with the SKP, Form 4 mathematics. And next is the introduction of the hand activity, how the activity will conduct in classroom by a teacher. And also we have a concept development, mathematics Form 4, Chapter 1, and the activity. And then the learning activity, mathematics about the treasure hunt mission, and that related with quadratic equation. And last but not least, the exercise that the teacher can use the exercise for student in this activity. And lastly, the conclusion about the quantum model and the treasure hunt activity.
Next, I will explain about the implementation phase, which is very crucial stage in any educational research. The implementation of this teaching module gave us the opportunity to observe how well it supports mathematics teachers in teaching function and quadratic equation in one variable. Through real classroom setting, we assess not only the effectiveness of the module, but also teacher acceptance and students' reactions. This direct observation helps us gather authentic data, evaluate the module's strengths and weakness, and also identify the areas for future improvement. For this research, we designed a comprehensive learning package that includes structured activities, work examples, and also teacher guidance. The goal was to create a ready-to-use resource for classroom instruction that could be tested and evaluated during the implementation. To gather data from mathematics teachers, we developed a questionnaire as our primary research tool. The items in this questionnaire were aligned with our research objectives and were also informed by previous literature on teaching modules and instructional strategies. The questionnaire consists of 8 sections, each targeting different evaluation criteria, starts from section A until section H. It consists of respondent background, cognitive development, user friendliness, learning effectiveness, user satisfaction, accuracy of content, conceptual understanding, and also open-ended feedback. Section B through G contain 5 questions each, designed to be rated using 5-point Likert scale. Section A and H are non-scale, with Section A capturing demographic data and Section H providing space for free response feedback. In total, the questionnaire consists of 30 items structured to provide a comprehensive view of how the teaching module performed in actual classroom setting. To conclude, this implementation phase is not only about testing a module, but about gaining valuable insight from teachers in real-world classroom setting. The findings from this phase are vital for refining the module, enhancing instructional quality, and ensuring that it truly supports both teachers and students in learning process.
In evaluate phase, we analyze the data that we have retrieved based on the questionnaire that we have made. This is the background for our respondent. From this table, we can see that 60% of our respondent has less than a year of teaching experience, whereas the rest has teaching experience from 1 to 3 years. Most of our respondents teach lower secondary students, which is 46.7% of them. 40% of them teach both lower and upper secondary students, and the rest 13.3% teach upper secondary students. Next, 66.7% of our respondents has taught students in quadratic function, and the rest of them never teach the topic. From this table, we can also say that 53% of our respondents has used teaching model, and the rest 47% has never used the teaching model. Next, in this slide shows the data for section B to section G of the questionnaire. We find the median for each of the question, and we can see that most of the question has median value of 4 and 5 only, which means that our module can help develop student cognitive in this topic, easy to use, effective in students' learning, satisfy the user, and can build students' conceptual understanding. This is the data from the final section of our questionnaire, which is open-ended feedback. In this section, we analyze the respondent feedback by using thematic analysis. For the first question, we ask the respondent about the strength of our module, and their feedback can be divided into 2 themes, which is content of the module and design of the module. Next, we asked our respondent about the improvement for our module, and they said that we have to improve from the content of our module, add more example, question and answer, and improvise the design of our module. Lastly, we ask them if given a choice, would you continue to use this method, which is quantum learning? And all of our respondents said yes, because it can help students' understanding, make learning more fun, and help teachers to deliver the syllabus. That's all from our group, and